All right, I will call our Tuesday, May 12th meeting to order. If you would, please rise and join us for a prayer and the pledge.
Bow your heads with me. Our dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and the many blessings you've given us. Lord, we thank you for this beautiful community that we each are so blessed to be a part of, to reside in, and to serve in. Lord, we just thank you for the opportunity tonight to honor public service within our community. Lord, we're thankful for the police officers, the firefighters, the teachers, the nurses, and the small business owners. And Lord, we just thank you for the opportunity to pause for a moment to appreciate each of those and what they contribute to our community and the safety that they provide for this community. Lord, I thank you for this council, for the volunteerism that they provide to consider situations and items that come before them that will move this community forward. I just ask that you be with them tonight, help them to make decisions that come from you and that do continue to better this community. Lord, I ask that you be with each of us as we leave here tonight. Just help us to have safe travels back to our homes. Lead us and guide us and forgive us where we fail you. We say all these things in the name of Jesus.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Kennedy?
Here.
Chairman Pro Tem Lewis?
Here.
Councilwoman Oplinger?
Here.
Councilwoman Pettit?
Here.
Councilman Blades?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Moving on to public comment. A citizen desiring to speak on an item not on the agenda may do so at this time. Each citizen is limited to 3 minutes, and the council will not take action or discuss items at this time. Discussion should be limited to matters of city business, and public comment is not permitted in regard to personnel matters or on pending legal matters. Items introduced under public comment may become agenda items at a later date. Gary Gold.
Actually, Mr. Whitty here and I are together.
You're
If he
doing
can
a
come up
combo?
too.
Okay.
It's all about the same thing.
Gotcha.
I run the cruise in. It's at Brahms, and they're closed for the next 4 months.
Yep.
We're wanting to move it somewhere else. We've come up. Ed here's got there he is.
Got the shop
He's
across
got the shop
street
over
there. We've
here.
been restoring it back to being a gas station, which we actually got the paint on it, the two-tone paint for the theme of the old gas station like it used to be.
Okay.
So we'd like to move the cruise in down here for the next 4 months at least. The thing is, you know, you got food venues downtown down here. We can bring business down here. We got little restaurants down here pretty good.
Yep.
And I think it'd be a good thing. You know, I think it'd be pretty easy going. Of course, you know, I'll make sure if anybody tries to get rowdy out there, they're gonna get shut down, they're gonna get banned, they're gonna get kicked out. It's gonna be a peaceful thing. It just, we get a lot of cars. I had last month 114 cars crammed in there at Brahms.
Yeah.
We got plenty of parking here. We've got a lot of little fun things to do. One thing I didn't put down on my application, we put down the times we want it and whatever. Talking about shutting down at a certain time. We want to do a movie at night. I've got this big movie screen. You know, we sit out here after dark, you know, and they hang out and watch a movie. Anybody, you know. We just want to make it fun. Thing is, after that 4 months is over, we've talked about, we'd like to make this a permanent thing. It's not up to me whether we move it from Brahms down here or whether we leave it there after they reopen. And if that's the case, instead of the last Saturday of the month, we'd like to try to keep it permanent down here on the second Saturday of the month, if it goes over good, you know, and I think it will. He's setting up a really cool little shop over here, a lot of vintage stuff. We just got all kinds of little activities planned. You know, we can set up games and stuff for people and just make it a fun night, you know. And that's all I'm after, just for things that people have fun.
We're just wanting to make it a family-oriented type deal where,
Yeah.
you know, youngsters can come down and check out the cars in the community. It's not just the car people, it's for everybody in the community to show up.
Yeah, that's what it's about.
And have a place to hang around, look at cars, listen to some older 60s music, some games and contests that would be for everybody, not just the people with the cars there. And then we have a good selection of different foods in our downtown. We have about every type of food now. And we're planning on having that's gonna be barbecue shop is what that is. And the car stalls where the repairs used to be done on the garage there, it's all gonna be themed out in 50s and 60s auto memorabilia. If you've ever watched American Pickers, it'd be very similar to their shop. There'd be lots of old hot rod car stuff, gas pumps, bicycles, just everything to decorate it all up to put that atmosphere out there. And it's based on trying to get something going for our downtown, which we're part of the downtown,
Revitalization project,
yeah.
yeah.
I don't remember on this one specifically, was there a road closure requested for
There
this?
was not one requested, and council, when you got to that agenda item, I was gonna request some comment from the applicant on that. So staff has talked about that. If you could just kind of expand a little bit on intent and request for any street closures. So during,
Street
when you have
closures.
the cruise in, do you want anything closed around the
No,
square?
no, because we'd like to see cars get out and drive around. I mean, a cruise in is a cruise in, people
Yeah.
come in and park. We're talking about a cruise.
It's at a very
Get
low
out here,
speed. It's
yeah,
at
we're
an
just
idle
idle
speed.
around.
It's not driving.
Well, what keyed me off to thinking
Nope.
about that was the movie screen part that you mentioned, so where are you planning on
Oh,
doing
right
that?
there at his shop.
We're gonna do it
It's-
in shop in the parking lot,
People
and
bring
that
lawn
would be
chairs.
lawn chair type. It wouldn't
Okay.
be for cars to set up, it
No,
would be lawn
no,
chair.
no.
It's a big screen. How big is the screen?
Well, the one I got coming out is like 10 foot tall, 17 foot wide. It mounts on the side of a trailer.
Yeah,
And,
It would be set up in the parking
It'll be out
lot.
of the way.
so the
There's not gonna
viewers would be in
any
the
street
parking lot,
blockage.
is what
Yeah.
you're saying? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Any questions, council? Did you get your questions answered?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. All right.
And two, we would like to see it slightly policed, meaning, we don't need and have to have the police presence during the cruise-in. They're more than welcome to, but we want it known that when you leave the cruise-in 2 blocks from here, don't think it's okay to go ahead and,
Yeah.
spin your tires. We wanna warn them that they're gonna be watching for it, and we don't need this because we don't wanna ruin a good event for our town.
Okay.
I've been doing the cruise in Brahms, this will be our 19th year, and we've never had any issues there.
Wow.
Yeah.
There'll be a few of them maybe get on the highway and they'd romp it,
Yep.
taking off, but,
Remind me when this starts.
it'll be, our first one will be on the 30th of May. It's always the last Saturday of the month.
Okay, thank you.
And then if we continue it and get the blessing from you guys, then we may end up continuing the one at Brahms. If all the people decide they like it there, then we wanna continue one here, but it would like be possibly the second week of the month.
Okay.
Yeah, if that happens, just come back and let us know.
Yeah, we're just gonna see, we're feeling our way into this and seeing
Okay.
how the community likes it. So far, everybody we've talked to loves the idea, and the restaurants and everybody, it's just a big boost for everybody.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, having no further public comment, those, I can call Ed up, but you guys came up as a combo there. We'll move on to council forum. Chairman Pro Tem.
Yeah, a lot, but some of it's fairly outdated, so I was gone last meeting. I did go to the band fundraiser car show at the airport, and that was really awesome. They kind of did a little bit of a fly-in event too, and got me thinking maybe, I don't know if the airport requested any assistance from us. I know stays pretty busy, but I would love to maybe offer to do maybe a little more of a fly-in car show next year. And it was just kind of neat having a mix of airplanes and cars. So maybe just at the next airport board meeting, offer that thought, or if there's something that Justin would need help with, or anything, I'd love to know about it, and kind of maybe expand on that just a little bit to bring interest into the airport as well, so.
Got nothing to report.
I did attend the hospital board meeting.
Okay. Let's see, I had a P and Z meeting last week, which some of the items I believe are on the agenda tonight. I just have a couple things too I want to mention. Does anybody know who owns that tree? It's just north of like the Little League Park. It's mainly dead. Right there's the curve on Church Street. Is that MoDOT roadway, or is that?
The MoDOT right-of-way there is pretty large. Jason may be able to answer that. I would have to look at that.
You think that's MoDOT's tree?
I believe it'll be the property owner, even though they have a right of way right there. We just have to, I'd have to look and see
Okay.
who actually owns that section or if it falls within that right of way, but I'm assuming it would be on the owner.
Okay. And I want to give a huge congratulations and awe to the Aurora Little League. Now that I got little T-ballers as grandchildren, I've been going, and I understand they have 570 kids in the program this year. Unbelievable. And super organized. They start every night with the national anthem. I was completely impressed, and it looks like the city is working well with the Little League. So, way to go.
Park Board coming up this Thursday. We'll be talking about the final items before the rescheduled park cleanup day this Saturday at 9 a.m. at White Park. So we'll be doing a fair bit of painting, and hopefully the weather holds out. I think they're calling for rain again, so hopefully that'll be later in the day and maybe we can get away with it. So that's all I got.
Okay.
Move on to the consent agenda, which will include 6.1 approval of minutes for the regular session on April 14th and 6.2 April and May 2026 appropriations.
I'll make the motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Motion and a second, please vote.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Old business 7.1, second reading of ordinance number 2026-3370, lot split, Heman Houses LLC.
I'll make a motion to approve the second reading of ordinance number 2026-3370, lot split, Heman Houses LLC.
I'll second the motion.
Motion and a second, please vote.
Motion passes.
Thank you. 7.2, second reading of ordinance number 2026-3371, lot split, Blessed Home Builders.
I'll make a motion to approve the second reading of ordinance 2026-3371, lot split, Blessed Home Builders.
Second.
Motion and a second, please vote.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Moving on to new business, I have 5 proclamations tonight, so if everybody's ready for some reading, we'll get started here. So we'll start first on the list, 8.1, National Nurses Week Proclamation. Whereas nearly 3.8 million registered nurses in the United States comprise our nation's largest healthcare profession, and whereas more than 120 nurses within Aurora Mercy Hospital and ancillary medical and care facilities within the Aurora community provide compassionate care and healing in our community. And whereas the nursing profession encompasses a broad range of expertise, responsibilities, and specialties, playing a critical role in promoting public health, advancing medical care, and improving patient outcomes. And whereas registered nurses consistently demonstrate professionalism, dedication, and leadership while delivering high-quality care and ensuring the safety and well-being of patients and their families. And whereas nurses make significant contributions to the strength and resilience of the Aurora community through their commitment of service and excellence in healthcare. And whereas the City of Aurora joins the American Nurses Association in declaring the week of May 6th through the 12th as National Nurses Week in celebration of the vital role nurses play in safeguarding the health and wellness of our community. Now therefore, I, Tony Kennedy, Mayor of the City of Aurora, do recognize the week of May 6th through the 12th, 2026 as National Nurses Week and extend heartfelt appreciation to the nurses who selflessly serve the Aurora community. We further ask all Aurora residents to join us in honoring our dedicated nurses who care for us and to celebrate their invaluable contributions to our local healthcare facilities. Do we have any nurses in the audience that would want to come up and take a picture? We have one up here, yeah. All right.
We don't have to do picture, do
No, you can do a picture. And I apologize, everybody, due to the cancellations, the last council meeting we were still assessing damage from the crazy hail that we got, so we skipped that meeting. So some of these are a little bit in arrears, but we will get through the list. Number 2, or 8.2, Teacher Appreciation Week. Whereas, through their dedicated efforts to ensure our children learn the knowledge and skills needed to be successful in higher education, careers, and life, teachers are vital in helping build the future. And whereas our country's future depends on providing quality education to all students, and whereas teachers spend countless hours preparing lessons, evaluating progress, counseling and coaching students, and performing community service. And whereas teachers play a critical role in shaping our children into the people they will become, supporting them through their youth, and teaching lessons that will have an impact on students that will carry through their life. And whereas the City of Aurora recognizes and supports teachers in educating the children of this community. Now therefore, I, Tony Kennedy, Mayor of the City of Aurora, do recognize the week of May 4th through the 8th, 2026, as Teacher Appreciation Week, and on behalf of the City of Aurora, extend appreciation to all the teachers at Pate Early Childhood Center, Robinson Elementary, Aurora Junior High, Aurora High School, Alternative Learning Center, and also to all teachers at public, private, and home schools. Do we have any teachers in the audience? Oh, they're scared because they know they can come take a picture. I don't know. All right. 8.3 National Small Business Week Proclamation. Do I have the right one? Yeah, okay. Whereas in 1963, under President John F. Kennedy's administration, the United States started recognizing the critical role of small businesses and the need to provide them with support and recognition. And whereas small businesses are the backbone of our local economy, providing jobs, services, and innovation that strengthen our communities. And whereas small business owners invest not only their time and resources, but also their heart into building enterprises that reflect the unique character of our neighborhoods. And whereas these businesses are vital contributors to our community's identity, resilience, and growth, deserving of recognition and support from both public and private sectors. And whereas by shopping locally and supporting entrepreneurs, we create a thriving, sustainable economy that benefits everyone. Now therefore, I, Tony Kennedy, Mayor of the City of Aurora, Missouri, hereby proclaim National Small Business Appreciation Week, May 3rd through the 9th, 2026, and I urge all residents to recognize and celebrate the important contributions of our small businesses in our community.
And I'll share this with our members of the.
All right, 8.4 Firefighter Appreciation Day. Whereas Firefighters Appreciation Day is observed each year on May 4th to honor and remember the past firefighters who have lost their lives while serving their communities, to express gratitude to those who have served in this line of work, and to show support and appreciation for those who presently serve. And whereas firefighters exemplify the motto of service before self that sets the standard for public service. And whereas firefighters follow a long line of tradition and honor that inspires them to help colleagues, neighbors, and strangers alike. And whereas at a moment's notice, firefighters are quick to respond to uncertain situations to mitigate danger and combat the threat of destructive fire to protect individuals, families, and the economic well-being of our community. And whereas the demands of firefighting are accompanied by both personal and physical tolls that all firefighters knowingly accept while risking their lives to protect the lives of others. And whereas the Aurora Fire Department staff and its volunteers deserve recognition and acknowledgement. Now therefore, I, Tony Kennedy, Mayor of the City of Aurora, do hereby proclaim May 4th, 2026 as Firefighters Appreciation Day, and I encourage all citizens to show support and appreciation to our city, county, state, and federal firefighters who protect our lives and property so diligently throughout the year, and by remembering past firefighters who dedicated their lives to preserve our safety.
That's right, we're before the cops.
I'm going down the list, guys, right?
Here goes.
They risk their life right after we secure the scene.
Decide whichever way you want to do it. Yeah, you probably should.
Come on, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, 8.5 National Police Week Proclamation. Whereas in 1962, President Kennedy proclaimed May 15th as National Peace Officers Memorial Day, and the calendar week in which May 15th falls is National Police Week. And whereas the members of the law enforcement agency of the City of Aurora play an important role in ensuring that the citizens and visitors to the Aurora community can live, visit, and conduct business in a safe and functional community. And whereas members of our police department take their duty as a solemn oath to serve the people of the community by safeguarding life and property, protecting them against violence or disorder, protecting the innocent against deception, and the weak against oppression or intimidation. And whereas our police department strives to be a model of professionalism, unmatched in character and integrity, and the model of impartial application of the law without regard to color, creed, race, religion, nationality, or ethnicity. And whereas we acknowledge a debt of gratitude to the brave officers and deputies who have paid the ultimate price to protect the community they serve. Now, therefore, I, Tony Kennedy, Mayor of the City of Aurora, do recognize the week of May 10th through the 16th, 2026, as National Police Week, and recognize May 15th, 2026, as National Peace Officers Memorial Day, and further extend appreciation to our Police Chief Wes Coatney and the members of the Aurora Police Department and all other law enforcement officers in Lawrence County, Missouri, for the invaluable service they provide and their exemplary dedication to the community they serve.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Get my bearings back here for a second. All right, moving on to 8.6, discussion, Algar Martin Engineering.
Council, this comes to you from previous conversations regarding our preparation for some stormwater ditch clean out in the community, as well as our tree clearing and preparation for the walking trail construction. So Alec McDonald with Algar Martin has been our dedicated engineer to the walking trail project, and really anything I throw at them. So Alec is here tonight to discuss with you guys what we've learned from the Army Corps of Engineers and kind of some guidelines and things as we walk through that.
All right, is this thing on? Council, Mayor, it's a privilege to be here. With my discussions with the Corps, they told me that we can remove any trees or brush we want that is in the regulated streams or possibly regulated streams. Their only guidance is to coordinate with property owners. That's the biggest reason why they don't go and clear out these streams. They love to see it cleared. It helps with conveyance. It helps reduce flooding. It's just an overall win for everyone. Cleans them up. So that was the big thing that I learned. I thought we had to do some permitting. We don't even have to worry about bats or any of that stuff. So it's pretty, they encourage it, and you guys can do it whenever you feel like you have time or the resources to do it. So any questions on trees or?
Well, I have a couple questions, I guess. So we'd met with another member of Algar Martin, 3 years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and the message was quite different. So is this something that's recently changed? Is this a policy change? I mean, because we kind of got the impression that, no, you can't do any of these things. So that kind of put us in a little bit of a bind in what do we do? What crosses the Corps and DNR and all those things, and versus, obviously we should be able to clean them out from our perspective. So has something changed, or is?
No, the policy is regulated to really dredging. So the way they phrase it is like under maintenance, and there's so much maintenance you can do. So For example, where you have a culvert, you can maintain 200 feet upstream and downstream as much as you want. So it was everyone's understanding that that meant trees and brush as well. But I have a guy at the Corps that I'm pretty close as we work through a lot of projects, and I called him up and I just asked him, he's like, no, that's a misunderstanding of that policy. He's like, no one's really asked us before. He's like, but the way it is, the way we see it is we got those trees and that brush out of there so that our streams can be streams.
So when you say up or downstream by 200 feet within city limits, does that mean beyond that is not included in scope, or?
No, that's just if you guys want to remove fill. If you have a big pile of dirt or debris, anything other than tree and brush, you can go in there and you can scrape those things per a nationwide permit.
Within the distance that you were
Within-
talking about?
yeah.
Outside of that, then it's just basically things that accumulate.
Yeah, like if you have a pile of sediment, you have to leave that if you're more than 200 feet away from a culvert. But trees, you can remove that. You can't remove any fill, is how they phrase it. So
Okay.
trees and brush is.
So on that topic, one of the things we discussed with this particular area that brought this discussion together was a pretty sharp bend in our current stormwater path that is obviously cresting, not holding. So the idea was to expand that out and kind of alleviate that bend. So this would be much more significant than just cleaning and dredging. So where does that fall under? And what kind of projects of that type can we do? What's the markers?
So the first thing I would say is we should have the Corps tell us if that's actually regulated or not, because on the map, it is a possibility of it not being regulated, that stream there.
Okay.
So that's just a application we send to the Corps and we say, hey, can you guys tell us if this is regulated? And the guidance is usually if it has water in it 2 months or more out of the year, it's regulated. If it doesn't, then it's not regulated and you guys are free to do with it what you want.
And this is a map I suppose we don't necessarily possess, they possess, and we have to ask, or?
It's the USGS map. You can find it online. I can send that link to Carrie so you guys all have access to it. And you'll see two types of streams. There'll be a solid blue line. Those are 100% regulated. And if they're dashed, then you have to ask the Corps, is this regulated?
Okay, and is our stormwater path all marked somehow on that map? Do we know?
Not all of it, but we believe that everything that we're wanting to work on cleaning right now, so he did send me the link and I looked at Chat Creek as well as the areas over here that we're wanting to work on, near Hadley and Jefferson
Yeah.
and up to Lincoln. Those areas are identified as possibly regulated. We don't have anything within that that is showing that it's fully regulated. So that's what I was explaining in that email after we canceled, that all of the areas we're hoping to work in either show that they are not regulated or that they might be. So that's what we need to apply for. Then we'll know whether we require a permit or not.
Okay. Go ahead.
So can we just go ahead and ask, because we've been kind of asking this
Yeah,
for
him and I are working on that. That's,
6 years, okay.
I've identified for him the areas that we want to make that request on, and that's what Alec is working on now. The actual cleanup of the overgrowth and the trees and things, we're gonna start moving on that now.
What else is on the don't do list? Like, what else, is there anything else like we need to be careful of and make sure we're not doing?
Rerouting is it's a don't do unless you ask for permission. And there's different levels of Corps approval. So they have what they call nationwide permits, and these are things that are generally allowed, and it's a simple permit application. It's a pretty quick process. So one of those is restoring a stream to a more original state. So where we were discussing where you have two 90-degree bends pretty much back to back, the Corps views that as not original, and so there is a nationwide permit where it's a quick 2-page, I say quick, but for the Corps, it's a quick permit application, 2 pages, and you can say, hey, we want to restore this to its original state. We can push that more on the city's property, restore some of the bank to the north, and that's not going to be a 1-year-long permit process like it is if it doesn't fall under one of those nationwide permits. So
Let me rephrase my question. So as we do cleanup, is there anything we just need to be real cautious of to not do?
no, the only word of caution I got was try not to remove excess dirt, but we're always going to have some incidental, and he said that's fine, but don't take like a skid steer through there and scrape it. Knock the tree over, pull it out. You're going to have some dirt, some disturbance that way, and then
That's-
when we're
Sorry, no, anything past 200 feet
Yes.
up or down from a culvert.
Yep, outside of that maintenance permit.
Okay.
So that was the only,
So you're saying we have, one of our parks, Crosby Park, has a pretty big drainage that goes through it. So you're saying that we can take brush, trees out of it, but we cannot like dig the channel any deeper to allow more water flow? Is that correct?
that is correct. Now,
Okay.
with Crosby, for 200 feet upstream, we can do some dredging and
Okay.
removing buildup of sediment, but we can't go and lower the flow line of that creek by a foot to allow more conveyance.
Okay.
And what about, so for culverts that exist within these paths, where does that fall under? Is it still under the same, like if they needed to be increased or added to, is that part of the same?
That's just maintenance. So if you have to remove and replace a culvert, it's just a notification to the Corps, hey, we're doing this. You're not asking for permission, you're just notifying them of it.
Okay.
Okay, and that may be, so that's the hard part I'm having to understand here. So for things that were man-made, that don't exist on this map, I don't know why I have to ask anybody. That's what I'm getting at, right? That's where I think some of us are struggling, because these obviously weren't natural streams or any kind of things that happened before. You can see they were man-made. That's the ones I'm struggling a little bit with. Do we still have to apply even on those that are well outside of this map area?
If they're outside of the stream map area, no, but
Okay.
if they are within it, then it's just a quick notification, hey,
Gotcha.
we are replacing this culvert.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Any further
I'm
questions?
good.
All right, awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll probably be having a few of those applications, I would say, soon, so.
Council, our intent, while you're on this topic, is to move forward with equipment rental and start some of that initial cleanup process immediately, unless you give me any reason not to begin that.
I think as soon as
Great.
possible is great.
'Tis the season.
Yeah. All right,
I
any,
assume we're gonna start downstream, work our way up.
We're gonna,
I mean, that's,
we're gonna focus initially on the concern issues over on Jefferson, Hadley, in that area related to that whole area, because that's where we have the most floodwater and the most, you know, we have the most concerns there when we have large rain events. And it also couples with that walking trail project. We wanna make sure that that is taken care of and improved before we start
So
that
ju-
construction.
I guess I just have a little concern of increasing the flow
Right.
midtown, right?
And
I don't wanna be
Alan can speak to
creating
that
a
a little bit too. We've talked about that,
issue downstream.
yeah.
welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. That is a concern. I think with the bends in that channel, and I haven't looked at the hydraulic model, but off my expertise, that because of the bends and the structures that are there, that's going to be more of our limiting factor than those trees and that brush. That will help conveyance and speed it up, but we still have those choke points along the way that are going to kind of back that water up. But it'll help. It'll help more in the areas where we're working than it'll hurt downstream. Now, to sit here, blatant statement, say that it won't erode anywhere downstream, we can't say that unless we look at the whole stream as a model. But I can confidently say that that little bit of removal, by the time we get to a culvert or something like that, it's not going to really have any long-term effects. Streams kind of work themselves out over time, so if you do have a little bit of erosion, then you'll have some deposition of that sediment somewhere else, and then they'll stabilize. So I can't say for sure, but I think for the most part, it's just going to speed the water up enough to get it through those bends.
Okay.
All right,
Thank you.
anything else? Thank you. 8.7, discussion North City Hall lawn.
Oh, this is my pictures. Where'd they go?
Council, you have some pictures in front of you this evening, and then I'm also gonna have them on the TV so that everybody kind of knows what I'm referring to. So, as you know, we previously have had conversations about the Lady Justice statue, that the council, agreed to take, and we have her in our possession now. So, conversation now, there are two things here that are coming up in conversation. The first being, where do we put Lady Justice? And the second one being, ongoing concerns with the fountain and the water lines supplying water to the fountain on the north side of City Hall. So there had been mentioned to me by two different council members of maybe some thought process about the Lady Justice statue replacing the fountain on the north side of City Hall. So I've kind of combined those two pieces of conversation in these images just to start that conversation and that topic, and then to see if that's the direction you want us to run, or if you want it to go somewhere completely different and look toward rehabbing that fountain and all of its parts. So the first picture you have is just a picture I've taken of the exterior of City Hall in recent weeks with our existing fountain. And then the second picture is a picture of the Lady Justice statue before she came to us. The third picture is the same. And then the next picture is I believe, AI generated, maybe he's that artsy, picture from a council member, from Chairman Pro Tem Lewis. This is not Our Lady Justice statue. I just want to clarify that because I'd had somebody ask that. But this was a thought process that, of an image of maybe something that we could consider. So I've shown that to you because I think this is I like this rendering of a proposed idea. So then in the next image, you'll see that I also used AI and asked it to put Our Lady Justice in the middle of that where the fountain currently sits. And then the final picture is the same, but I have taken out the water feature. So that's what I have for you to discuss and consider and give us some direction on what you would like us to do. So in relation to the fountain, I want to say that that is a historic piece of, there's some history behind that fountain in our community. There's history behind the bricks that are around that fountain area. There are nameplates and placards out there that address, and there's multiple individuals that were part of that, but we have a local business owner that's been in business for many, many, many years that was a part of the fountain and donation of such, and there was a committee of multiple people that were business owners and citizens who were part of that. Additionally, the brick that is in the circle, that encompasses that in the circle, is from a downtown commercial building that burnt many years ago, and they donated that brick here in order to preserve some history of a downtown building in our downtown community. So I just want to say that regardless of how we move forward with this, I don't want to take away from those donations, those contributions to our community. I don't want to take away from the individuals who are part of that. We appreciate them. I want those things to live on. Staff is open to a thought process of relocating the fountain rather than it just going away permanently. There's been some talk about in a city park somewhere or something like that. We know that there are issues with those water lines under that concrete, and we're gonna have to tear all of that up and rehab all of that in order to make that fountain to where it's fully functional again.
Okay.
So with that being the case, like I said, I just wanna say how much we appreciate what's there and the history behind it, and we wanna continue to honor that. But if the council wants us to look at replacing the fountain with the statue of Lady Justice, staff would prefer that no longer be a water feature, and it just have greenery or flowers or something like that around it within that circle. But we'll do whatever you want us to do.
Okay, I think it's absolutely fabulous. I didn't come up with the idea, but I think it's wonderful. And it's really attractive, but who would maintain that? What department would fall to maintain?
Parks Department maintains all the groundskeeping here at City
Okay.
Hall. However, our custodian here also assists with that. So he does any kind of weeding and that kind of thing right around the building
Okay.
and takes care of some of those bushes. So it's a little bit of a combined effort.
Okay,
In terms of initial install, if we make a change like this, we've already had a collective conversation between Parks and Street for everybody to kind of, teamwork makes the dream work to make it happen initially.
so all the water goes and we basically fill it in with dirt, more or less?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's the thought process.
We built a pedestal in the very center.
right,
So that she could sit on it, something we could bolt her down so nobody can take it. And then probably we put in some filter rock and then put the dirt in so I can plant the flowers, that way it can drain out.
okay,
And that keeps the wall, it keeps the brick, and it keeps people from being right up on it.
okay,
Also, but that gets her up on a solid base. That's our thought process anyway.
okay,
There's been some conversation as well about a local Boy Scouts troop and Cub Scouts that might be interested in being a part of the project for the concrete in the middle or whatever we put her on. They might like to use that as a project and help with some of the contribution in terms of the funds to do that.
Okay.
And then the leadership classes at the high school have already started working on what the placard and signage would look like and say, and they're gonna be proposing to us, to the council, what signage would go with her to kind of tell the legacy of that statue and the story behind it. So it'd be a group effort.
I'd like to see it, her, or whatever, however we're referring to the statue.
Okay,
Where's it at?
it's
Okay,
at the street department.
yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, you hogging it?
Yeah,
Got it in your office?
I actually have the mold to her as well in my shelf.
I like the idea of keeping, the historic brick and all of that. I get the water feature is, I like it, but I get it's a pain. My only concern maybe is kind of what Teresa was alluding to. I know we have quite a few flower beds and things of that nature that, probably aren't A+ looking. I mean, there's just a lot of them. So I think that not dogging anybody, they just have there's a lot of that to keep up with, and we just seem to keep adding to the list. And so I have small concern of what that looks like. It looks great there, right? But what does it look like in the winter? What does it look like, in some of the shoulder seasons? If we maybe can look at some type of, I don't know, evergreen, or I don't know what you do there, but just thinking out loud.
the landscaping around the outside of the city hall building, when we redid that here just a few years ago, it was all low maintenance, once a year trimming and that kind of thing that was put there. So we can certainly go that direction on this. Also, not something that I would tie us to confirmation for ever and ever, but I do believe that we have local horticulture and FFA students and 4-H students who would be willing to partner with some kind of upkeep and maintenance and make that some project in community service hours. I've had a conversation with Ms. Civils about that at the high school, and their kids would be willing to be a part of that moving forward too.
Great.
I definitely like that rendering set up just like that. And I like that we can save the brick and all that history. My only question would be, is the fountain itself a part of that, or was that just a feature? Because I wouldn't want to, if that was specifically donated, then.
So they came at two different times. The fountain and then the brick were two separate donations. And the dates are on them out there. I can't remember.
Yeah, that's
Shannon,
fine.
you were part of one of those committees. Do you remember dates? I would have to go back and
Okay.
look.
I assume most of the heart went into the brick and the placards and all that different things. So I'm guessing that's not the case. I'd hate to move that out and find out that was donated specifically for a
Yeah,
purpose, so.
the fountain was donated, and I believe a portion of it was actually
Tell you something.
constructed by,
Thank you.
I was just gonna say that I feel like the people who served on those committees understand what kind of shape that fountain is in,
Mhm.
and that maybe its time has come
Okay,
to move on. This is something that's gonna be a whole lot more, less maintenance, and it's beautiful. I think that as long as those, and I know you've talked to some people, Carrie, that were on that, and I don't think anybody's given and been like, oh.
no, I did reach out
I
to
think this is a
some of them.
huge upgrade to our city hall and our community, so.
I will say, so this was on the last of my list of things to mention, then I turned around and looked at one of them in the eyes, so she's shooting me daggers. Aurora Downtown Project adopted their new branding a little over a year ago, and our fountain is in part of their logo work. So they're not real excited about this proposal because I've told them it's coming. So just something to keep in mind. I have talked to them about the possibility of maybe the fountain ends up somewhere else downtown with some partnership to the city to maintain and operate that. They have proposed some things to you on some other city-owned property that maybe we could get there. That's early conversation. ADP hasn't said yes. We haven't figured out what that utility would look like yet. But just so you know, we are looking at some other areas to maybe rehab that fountain and just repurpose where it is.
and we don't think there's gonna be any significant engineering work to manage something this heavy, being wind load, all that stuff. Okay,
We unloaded it, no problem.
okay.
What's the timeline look like?
As soon as you tell me what we're doing, I'm moving. But it sounds like maybe you guys want to take a field trip and go see her.
Oh, I'm okay if everyone else is okay. I just wanted to see it.
This is
Sure.
an actual picture, right? The one,
I-
not the gold
absolutely.
one, but or the bronze one, but the other one, that's not a rendering, that's the actual picture, correct?
Correct.
Okay, yeah.
My vote would be to go ahead with that
Yeah, I like it.
I think you have my blessing.
Okay,
No objection.
okay. We're gonna move forward with that
Okay,
then.
good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. 8.8, resolution number 2026-2097, mowing bid, C Moon.
Council, we have one bidder. This year it was published in the same way, same fashion that we always do, and C Moon was the only bid. So we're used to working with him. This would be repeat, so no questions from staff on this.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-2097, mowing bid C Moon.
Second.
Motion and second, please vote.
Motion passed.
Thank you. 8.9, resolution number 2026-2098, compensation study. So Teresa and I had a bit to review these. There was a lot. And I tend to agree with the top three that Carrie and Kami had chose. I think they only disagreed by one, and it was their second and third choice. So I did agree with their first choice. The only word of caution is that I saw several references in there to a software program and a subscription service potentially. I would caution, I don't want that to turn into a upsell, kind of function. I want it to be what we asked for. So you may have to hold their feet to the fire a little bit, as excited as they were, at least in their pitch document, to talk about it. So that was my only concerns.
I did make a call to some of the a couple of calls to some of the references in their packet, and they indicated that that wasn't something that was a
Okay.
hard push, and
Oh,
that they were
good.
really good to work with the whole time. I asked them if that was something we would feel like we needed, like that was required, moving on, and I did not get that feedback from
Okay.
the
Okay.
communities I spoke with.
Okay.
Excellent.
Is this the JER?
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
I just noticed, I don't know if it matters, or, that the guy that's doing it's a independent contractor and not an employee of that firm, which I thought was kind of odd, but,
On the JER.
yeah. I don't know if that matters. Maybe some just,
I remember that as well, and I think they have both. I think they have a combined staffing and then independent contractors that work with them. I didn't pick that out as a concern, so I'd be happy to ask some questions further if you want us to.
no, I mean, not really. I guess just pointing it out, make sure somebody had saw that and was fine with it. One thing I'd love to make sure that we receive is the ability to stair step whatever the recommendation is, right? It's probably likely going to be several hundred thousands of dollars, if not more, of a budgetary cost to staff, right, out of the gate. And because that's the easy fix. We could fix it right now if we had a couple $1 million extra, so it would be easy to do. So my suspicion is that's going to be the recommendation. But what I would want is like some type of implementation plan to step into several years, a 3 to 5 year plan, not just a here's how you fix it. And a one and done thing. I think we're going to need likely,
Yeah.
to do this over time, not a one budgetary season would be my guess. But I don't know if that's something we can work towards with them. It's not necessarily spelled out, but it's not excluded either. I don't know how everybody else feels about that, if that's something we can kind of.
That might be good to reach out and make sure they don't want to update their SOW to structure something like that.
Yeah, and I think, so the compensation planning that they had in there, because I remember I made some notes about that as well, we can certainly confirm it, but my understanding was the compensation planning and compensation phase was part of that, helping us build the planning for implementing that based on whatever they produce.
Okay.
We can certainly confirm it.
Okay.
So I think as long as that's the case, you determine that to be the case, we're good. Otherwise, we probably want to talk about what they're, if they're going to restructure their SOW and their pricing, then we need to hear about that again, unfortunately. Any further questions on that one?
I'll make a motion, we accept resolution 2026-2098 for the compensation study.
Second?
Motion and a second, please vote.
Motion passed.
Thank you. 8.10, resolution number 2026-2099, Cedar Glen Lift Station bid.
Council, before you this evening, you have the Cedar Glen Lift Station Improvement Bid Recommendation. I just kind of wanted to back up and remind everybody that we had originally budgeted an amount of $250,000 for this project. On April 28th, the bids were submitted, and we had the bid opening, and we had a total of 5 bids, which are on page 3 of that PDF file. And the city would like to recommend the award of the construction contract for the bid to G&G Construction in the amount of $162,000 for the Cedar Glen Lift Station Improvement Project.
Have we worked with these folks before?
Yes, they did our last lift station improvement project over on Locust Street, and they also did the stormwater improvement bridge down there at the wastewater facility.
Great.
So we've worked with them even before me. The city's worked with them numerous times before, so.
What led to such the delta between our budget and the bid?
I think when we first visited this project was in early 2025, Carrie, if I'm thinking right, or even the end of 2024. And we had originally come up with a lower amount, and we kind of planned for some inflation, which we really didn't see, thankfully. And there was pretty good wide range on bids, as you've seen as well. So I think we were kind of fell smack in the middle on what we had guesstimated, but I'm glad we're on the low end.
I think the engineering estimate was like 180 something, and
Yeah.
to be honest, this was budgeted 2024, and
Yeah.
we carried it over because the project didn't get done.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, and Carrie had asked me if I felt comfortable leaving it at a lower amount, and I really didn't, because I inspected inflation, and luckily we didn't see that, so. But yeah, we've worked with G&G Construction numerous times,
So no change in scope then?
and they do good work, no worries on my end at all. So, no, there was no change in scope of the project. Nope.
Make a motion that we accept resolution 2026-2099 for the Cedar Glen Lift Station bid.
Second that motion.
Motion and a second, please vote.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you. 8.11, resolution number 2026-2100, roller machine purchase, street.
Good evening, council.
Good evening.
I believe you have the bid sheets there and that you have. Just a little backstory, we've been on a roller for over a year now. In fact, last year's street project, we had to rent one, so we rented one for, we had it for 2 weeks, and we ended up, $4,600 just to rent one. So I've been looking and looking, trying to find something compatible, something that was comparable, I should say, to what we had. And they're expensive, or they're wore out. That's what I've ran into. So I haven't been able to find a real medium cost effectiveness until these three here. And I've been working with a gentleman through John Deere that's got the ham that we've, I think that's the one we would like to go for. There's actually two, if you looked in there, same brand, same model, same specs. One has 92 or 90 hours or something, and the other one has 152, but a few $1,000s less. So that hours, I would rather take the less money on that. But that would get us back up to going, and we wouldn't have to worry about a roller again. So that's where we're at with that.
Okay.
Just-
Make a motion that we accept resolution.
Hold on, I just have one question. How many hours do you anticipate you put on one of these in a year?
Gosh, probably 100 or less. Probably less than 100, because it's just short. When we're doing patches, it's started. We're doing it, shuts off. But mainly when we're doing major road constructions, when we're running them the most. So that's why I'm looking for something too. Like I said, we had one found, and I thought we had it secured. Carrie and I both did, and to be honest, they sold it out from under us. And it was around the same money, a little bit less, but a lot more hours than what I found in this one. That's why I'm presenting this one.
Oh, good.
Okay, all right,
That's good.
thank you.
Good to go?
Sorry.
Make a motion we accept resolution 2026-2100 for the roller machine purchase for the street department.
Second that motion.
Motion and a second, please vote.
Motion passed.
Thank you.
Thank you, council.
8.12, resolution number 2026-2101, John Deere backhoe lease street.
Council, as you've known, for some time, we've had issues with our backhoe. In fact, it's in the shop again right now, and we're looking at a pretty significant amount of money just to repair it. Carrie and I talked, and we were at a point, even if we go ahead, if you guys approve to go back to a lease program, which I would like to do because it keeps us under full, complete warranty from head to toe. We did this in years past, and it was great. I don't know why we ever stopped that. I don't know if that was at the time council or who was in charge, but I think our backhoe's our most used piece of equipment. We put about between 500 and 600 hours a year on one. And of course, as you know, the brush cleanup is a huge deal, so we use it a lot. By getting into this lease program, we lease it for 3 years. It stays under full warranty for 3 years. They have 4 mechanics, mobile mechanics. John Deere has been awesome in contacting me almost daily to make sure everything's right. Offered to let us come and check out their mobile service, the whole 9 yards. Got to see one of the backhoes. The road district here actually bought one, so they have one. So we would like to get back into the lease again, just so that we can keep that thing under warranty. In the last 2.5 years, now with what we're getting ready to have to pay to have this one fixed, we've put over $35,000 in the backhoe that we have currently to keep it on the road. So I think this is a no-brainer to me, and just with my experience, council, it keeps us constant. And
What's your plan for the backhoe once you get it fixed?
well, we were in a dilemma of let's don't throw any more money at it, but it could take a little while to get this new one. So we're gonna have to have our backhoe. Plus, if we do trade it in or sell it out, they're not gonna buy it broken down. Plus,
Right.
the only way they could diagnose it was to tear it apart, which they did. Injectors were bad and all the rods were bad. They can't explain why. We keep the maintenance up on it, but it expired. So they are in the process. Victor Phillips is the one fixing it for us. So we're hoping to get that back soon.
Okay.
What we would like to do is, as soon as we get the new backhoe in, we'd like to sell that thing
Okay.
and use that money to put back in the department on something else. And once we're under the blanket of the lease, then it'll constantly be checked, monitored. They monitor their equipment. They have their techs come down not randomly. They have it set up to where they will check the machine and make sure nothing's going on because we're under that lease.
Okay.
So that's what the lease is right there for you. I reach out to Caterpillar, John Deere, and Case, both Luby, which used to be Potter in Springfield, and Victor Phillips. Case never returned anything to me. So I've kind of heard why, but I wouldn't say that because I don't know it for the gospel. But so John Deere did give me 2 different bids on 2 different machines, and then Caterpillar gave me a bid. And John Deere's by far what we would prefer, and they're in the price that we like. The only difference is there was a quote that come back a little bit. Originally, they thought our grapple bucket would work, and so that's how he bid it. We found out that he said it will not. So in order to get a new grapple bucket, the yearly payment went up a little bit. So I was a little bit in a panic mode. But then I found out today that I can take our grapple bucket, replace the couplers, basically cut them off, weld new ones on, that will fit this backhoe. But here's my thing. That grapple is going on 7, 8 years old, and it is a key piece of equipment for the city of Aurora. Not just me. We've used it in every department, storms, you name it. If we go ahead and lease one with a new grapple bucket, which will stay with that model, we could outfit our either sewer plant bucket, backhoe if they want to, or The cemetery is the one I thought of the most, because we use it out there a lot. You can outfit that backhoe with a control and some lines, and my grapple will fit that backhoe that I have currently. So, yes, we would be spending a little more in this lease program, but we would then have 2 grapples whenever we have a disaster or any type of major cleanup.
Okay.
Just a thought process. I'm good either way. If you guys want to just not use it, or if you want us to keep using it and try to modify it, we can. But we're looking at, what was it, Carrie, 2,000?
Yeah, the difference goes from 35,151 annually to 37,456 annually to add the grapple.
To add a brand new grapple and keep our old one and possibly put it on for another unit.
Okay.
Just a thought. I'm good either way.
I like keeping the old one, having a new ones designed for it, made for it,
Yeah.
all under warranty.
It makes sense. To me, it does.
What would you think you'd get out of the old backhoe once you get it fixed?
Just depends on, like used to when we were on the program with Potter, Michael Singer bought most of our leased ones. Before we even got our new ones, he had picked that one up. So there's a lot of contractors that are looking for an older backhoe.
Okay.
Fingers crossed and prayers, we hope when we get it back, it's gonna be right, and then it can go to someone else. So,
Okay.
I honestly don't, I'm sorry, I diverted your question, Teresa. I don't honestly know what we can
Okay.
get out of it, but,
Okay.
I would say we've taken the best care we can of it,
Sure.
but it's just been mechanically a nightmare for us,
Yeah.
so.
That's something that could also be surplus on gov deals like we have previously.
Okay.
under
Right.
That contract
Great
and some
idea.
of those other pieces of equipment, so it would be a bid situation. and
Okay.
We would have an option to put a reserve on it.
Right.
Or opt out.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what we do.
Help me remember how old that backhoe is.
We've had this one 7 years. Am I right? Say it again. Yeah, 19.
2019. Okay.
So not quite, yeah.
Okay.
So that's where we're at with that.
Make a motion to accept resolution 2026-2101 for the John Deere backhoe lease for the street department.
Second.
A motion and a second, please vote.
Motion passed.
Thank you.
Thank you, council.
Thanks.
Uh-huh.
8.13, first reading of ordinance number 2026-3373, vacate alley Kelly's.
Council, this request comes from recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting held on May 5th, 2026, where the commission held their public hearing for public comment. The applicants are Andrea and Vernon Kelly, and they have recently purchased the property at 1201 South Madison Avenue. I'm going to pull up a map over here on the TVs for you a little bit, just to kind of expand and help explain this. But before I do that, so they have made application to request vacation of the alley abutting their property. But this alley that we're talking about actually goes from Plum to Hadley, and it is an undeveloped alley. We've talked to the street department staff and other utility departments here, and none of us utilize that alley other than for some, typical utility things. So it's not a developed alley that is traveled on a regular basis by the community intentionally. But there is some of that happens. Additionally, this is property where the stormwater ditch area that we're talking about doing some cleanup is actually on some of these properties. So we've discussed with this property owner, understanding that an easement for utility access, cleanup of those stormwater areas, and improvements in those areas would be part of conversation and something that would be moving forward. They not only are accepting of that, they are cheering for that because they are looking forward to seeing some improvements in that area. So this application comes in from those property owners at 1201 South Madison, and we notified all property owners within 185 feet of the topic property, but not the full alley area. So something that I explained to the Planning and Zoning Commission, and I want to ensure that I explain to you guys, is I think what we should do is consider vacating this alley from Plum to Hadley if we're going to vacate it, rather than a portion in the center. And we would need to notify some other property owners. So I'm going to pull that up real quick to kind of explain what I'm talking about. This is 1201 South Madison. So they have made, can you see where my screen went blue there? They've made application, they own that and this lot to the north that's identified as lot 24, and they own lot 25. So when they're requesting a vacate of their property, really this is an application that is for that alley in relation to those three properties that they own. I would like to see us, if we're going to vacate this, do that whole area from Plum to Hadley rather than that portion, like I said. So state statute 88.637 is what governs vacation of public places, including alleys whenever deemed necessary or expedient. And this did go through the Planning and Zoning Commission. So staff recommendation as well as Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation is approval of this request with intent to bring back the opportunity to vacate the rest of that to the north and to the south of that same alley in the future, if you so choose to vacate.
My only concern reading through some of the commentary from the property owners was a desire to put up a fence. Isn't that right in the
And we discussed
stormwater?
that with them.
Okay.
They did initially have some thoughts about putting up a fence, and they may so in the future. But really their primary concern was ability to do some things on their property up to that alley area, which would not be right in that stormwater area. So they're
How
talking.
far off is it? I guess maybe that's where I'm losing scope, because I was thinking it was right in the back door.
So the stormwater ditch, you mean?
Yeah.
So right here is our stormwater ditch. Can you follow my arrow at all?
Yep.
Yes.
Their house is here.
Right.
So in terms of a fence, they're not talking about putting something down here where this ditch comes across. They're indicating that they have people that walk through this alley area.
Yeah.
So if they were to do anything, they're more concerned about this because they have intent for future construction up here on lot 24.
Okay.
So, but we did discuss with them the concern about fences and structures within the
Well, that's what I would
floodway
worry about,
and the
yeah.
floodplain, and they know that where they have the ability, they might have to do some things to to raise that, like we've talked about, and some of those things, if they're able to put it there. So we've told them that we'll come out and meet with them. That was one thing they requested at that P and Z meeting, is for city staff to come out and meet with them on site to talk about our stormwater cleanup that we plan to do out there, our storm ditch cleanup, as well as the fencing conversation. So we have a meeting scheduled for tomorrow on site with the Meisner family, and we're going to try to meet with those people tomorrow as well, just to have that conversation with them so everybody's in full understanding.
Okay.
Are there any utilities in this alley?
There are. We do have, so Liberty has some utilities in there. And again, they've been made aware that they can't construct anything within an easement, utility easement or a right-of-way area where utilities might need to be accessed, whether that be the floodplain or utilities from other utility providers.
Just Liberty?
I believe we have Spire. I don't think they go plumb through it. Yeah, Lance does. City utilities wise, I'm talking about outside of that. There is some Liberty utilities there, but I don't
So-
believe Spire goes up in there.
So in order to satisfy that access, you wouldn't be able to stop traffic, people from just thinking it's still an alley, because they wouldn't be able to close it off because
Right.
of the easement.
Right. And we've told them that we still have to have access to maintain any utilities that are in there. A fence would not be allowed within that easement area, and I've explained to them that if you put a fence there and we need access, we can and will rip it out.
If you go to that area, to be honest, you don't even realize there's an alley
Yeah.
there.
And the property owners maintain it up to the stormwater ditches the best they can right now.
And they own everything on each side?
They do not. On the west side, Mr. and Mrs. Boyd own that, and they were present at the Planning and Zoning Council, or Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, and they're in support as well. They had no negative feedback, and then down here, there's been contact made with both of these other property owners to the south as well. We
Isn't-
have not had contact with property owners to the north. So that's these up here. So Plum Street is where this vacation would end if we vacate this alley. We've not had contact or notification to any of these, and that's why I made the recommendation to the Community Development Department that we bring that back, because I believe those other property owners up there should be notified.
Is it not customary for folks to split the alley?
Yes,
So that's not the case here?
it is the case.
Okay,
Yeah,
All right.
we still just would have utility easement access and right-of-way there.
okay.
It only takes one of them to make application. The other one just has to show no opposition.
Got it.
And then legally, automatically, that property becomes 50-50, basically,
Okay.
of those property owners.
So do you want us to go ahead and approve this now until the further vacation?
I think it's
vacate?
acceptable to approve this. Just know that quickly, we're gonna bring back the remaining.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. to
Because
have that.
for me, and that's really well, we just need to bring it back.
Yeah.
It should have been presented that way initially, so we'll bring it back to finish it.
Okay.
So you want us to go ahead and approve it? It's ready to, okay. I'll go ahead and make the motion to approve the first reading of ordinance 2026-3373, vacate alley Kelly's.
Second?
Motion and a second, please vote. Thank you. 8.14, first reading of ordinance number 2026-3372, replat Lusader.
Council, this is a replat that comes by formal application from Mr. and Mrs. Lusader involving properties at 214 and 218 and 220 West Locust. So this is an empty lot that previously had a house on it that burned. So the 218 lot is actually the empty lot. If you look on the property report card that's there, and I'm sorry, I said 220, it's 222. So the Lusaders reside at 214 West Locust. 218 is an empty lot where there was a structure fire. 222 is owned by Mr. and Mrs. Ingram. These two property owners have come together and purchased 218 as owners together. And this replat is really what we typically consider a lot line adjustment. So basically, the Lusaders are moving their property line in order to make that empty lot split 50-50 between each neighbor on either side. It also takes care of a little bit of concern from recent surveys where that property line is identified kind of in the middle of their structure. So this improves some of that, where the lines lay and things like that. So City Code Section 400.440 amendments outlines the legal procedures. Staff recommendation is approval on this, as well as approval recommendation from Planning and Zoning. Public hearing notices were mailed to all property owners within 185 feet. Planning and Zoning Commission did hold their hearing, and we had no negative feedback.
I don't want to like kick the hornet's nest here, but how did the property in 214 become in the middle of a property line?
Platted very, very long ago, I don't know, and constructed very, very long ago.
Okay.
I don't have an answer to that.
Okay. Just curious.
It's old enough that we don't have any kind of building permit for that structure on file.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the first reading of ordinance 2026-3372, replat Lusader.
I'll second that motion.
Motion and a second, please vote.
Motion passed.
Thank you.
Alex, if you wanna go home, you look exhausted.
I'll just wait it out.
All right, well, it'll be 3 more hours.
Well, that's because I'm not.
We've got a little bit more to go. You better go.
8.15, special event application, 4th of July annual parade.
Council, this is the annual parade that the library and the groups that work with the library put together. So applicant is Leanne Self with the Aurora Branch Library. This is a repeat of previous years. City staff really enjoys getting to be a part of this. So at City Hall, we go out on the lawn for a little bit and hand out candy. PD and Fire come over, and it's really a fun event, and it seems to grow every year with more kids that are riding their bikes in this little parade. So I believe Liberty is going to be a part of this, giving out some treats to kids again like they have in the past, and then they are planning to have the fire hydrant opened after the parade for the kids to play in like they did last year. So staff recommendation is approval with no concerns from your staff.
Awesome. I'll make a motion, we approve special event application 4th of July annual parade.
Second?
Motion and a second, please vote. Thank you. 8.16, special event application, Gotta Dance Studio Disney Car Wash.
Council, this one comes from Sarah Shreve, representing Gotta Dance Studio. They are trying to raise money to go to Disney, as you can tell by the title of the application, and they are requesting to have a fundraiser car wash in the fire department parking lot at 106 South Elliott. They were planning on May 23rd, May 30th, with a secondary date of May 23rd if that wouldn't work. So they're requesting a May 30th event.
any concern of licensing if we're using the name Disney? No? Okay.
You're not publishing it. It's minor infringement and people do it.
Okay.
They're not, if they were selling things that say, I got my car washed at Disney, then yes.
Okay.
But you're just approving them to do a car wash to go to Disney.
Don't mess with the mouth.
I have a story. In that case, I will make a motion, we approve special event application, Guided Dance Studio, Disney Car Wash.
Second?
Motion and second, please vote.
Motion passed.
Thank you. 8.17, special event application, Vintage Market on Madison, barbecue cook-off.
Okay. Council, we have an Aurora Downtown Project member in the audience tonight that can answer any additional questions that you have here, but this would be a first-time event. It's for a Vintage Market on Madison combined with a barbecue cook-off. And Ed, you're on this committee, right?
Yes.
Do you want to talk about this one?
What it would be is a vintage market, which consists of antiques, collectibles, special interest items, not to be confused with like flea market, household stuff like that. It would be more vintage, you know, the market that people like today. We at first had plans of putting it maybe at the old cheese factory lot there, but after I had went and viewed the property, it's too out of shape. It's got too many divots and just, which makes it a dangerous situation to walk through for certain people. So with meeting with her, we had discussed putting it around the square, and we don't know the size of it. It's a first time event, but I have a past history of pulling off good sized events, so I know what it takes to make that happen. I can't give you an idea of the size. I don't know. It's a first time event, and the other thing that we have slightly against this is that particular time of the year there are hundreds of events throughout the Ozarks. So I have to hustle it online and at shows and maybe use some past customers I've had in that field, and then we would set it up around the square. I can't tell you if it would go all the way around or start right here on the north side of the square and just make it grow and kind of start going up on both sides. That's kind of what we had in mind. They would set up and then tear down at a certain time. It would be a one day event. I don't believe we didn't have anything where they could come set up the day before. I don't believe we had it set up to where they could start at maybe at 6 in the morning. Is that what we agreed on? 6 or 7 in the morning, and then tear down would be around 4 to 5 o'clock.
Yeah, it would be in conjunction.
Yeah, come on up.
It would be in conjunction with the barbecue cook-off that we were hoping to plan. We are. So our thought process was to take up the whole square. We would have the vintage market on one side and the barbecue cook-off on the other side. One day deal, starting small, hoping to grow huge because there really isn't any other barbecue cook-offs in the area, maybe just one that we've heard of.
Yeah.
So we're trying to something new. We wanted to be in conjunction with the car show so that we could send people back and forth
Okay.
between Oak Park and the square.
It's basically about, it's basically pulling people to our downtown for another event.
Sure.
You know, we're trying to prosper the downtown for everybody, and it gives something enjoyable to do for everybody in the community.
So do folks just would apply for a spot to sell vintage stuff? Is that like a booth?
Yeah, it's basically a flea market outside for a one-day
Yeah.
event. Instead of a crafting event, this will be more of a flea market vintage collectible.
Okay.
And we would have 10 by 10 booths, and they would bring their own tent and
Okay.
make sure that they have
So the square would be blocked off for traffic, it would just be pedestrian traffic
Yes.
on the
Correct.
square? Okay,
Yeah, more than likely, it would just be over on this end of Pleasant, this end of Pleasant, and then probably just straight ahead here.
okay,
Might leave it open or close it off where people can still drive up to here to have close access for maybe somebody that has disabilities or
Right.
something like that.
okay,
And just to make it more understandable from what she said, renting out basically a 10 by 10 space, it's basically the same floor mat that almost all towns would use when they have a craft festival. It's the same similar guidelines.
It would be similar to our community Christmas event,
yeah.
because it's
Or-
run by the same organization.
Or way back then with Hound Dog Days, when they did it around the square.
Yeah, you know, I mean, the bottom line is with their group, which is one of the best things that's ever happened for a while in our community, it's revitalizing downtown.
Right.
Like, let's go downtown type thing.
I'll make a motion that we accept the special event application for the vintage MKT on Madison for the barbecue cook-off.
Second?
I have a motion and a second, please vote.
Motion passed.
Thank you. 8.18, special event application Aurora Cruise-In.
Council, this one was addressed a little bit in public comment, so I'll just add that my questions were answered. Staff discussed this one in the management meeting as well, and staff has no concerns, so our recommendation is approval. We welcome them downtown.
I would like to, just since it's a reoccurring thing that we're approving, have the right, if something proves to be, you know, untrue, we could revoke it, but, you know, obviously, I don't think that would happen, but I'd like to have that right instead of just blindly, you know, blanket
I
4
would-
or 5 in a row, you know.
I would think they would need to reapply on a yearly basis, wouldn't they?
Yeah, so the application that's before you tonight is for those 4 months while Brahms is
Right.
closed. So it's the dates of 5/30, 6/27, 7/25, and 8/29.
Right,
So if you were to approve this as a whole, we absolutely can, you know, have conversation if something's not going as they applied or something like that. But anything outside of these 4 dates would have to come back to you.
right, okay.
I would like to, if I'm able to say something, I understand where you're coming from on that, but when it comes to events of almost any kind, for you to say to reapply, like maybe you meant after 4 months or whatever, when you put on the event, it needs to be known several months in advance whether or not you're having the event, because
Right.
in those different communities, whether it's vintage, antique, collectibles, or it's a car cruise, it doesn't matter what the event is, those people rely on in advance, several months in advance, knowing that this is going to be happening, to get automatically shut off, possibly could really cause havoc. And then to try to restart another event because there was a glitch that we need to work out, it could really down an event that, yeah, they do that, and then they shut it down because somebody spun their tire or something, and, you know, you see where I'm coming from?
Ed, I think we'll work with you. I think not just you, but any other event that is an ongoing thing. You know, if you're doing great with the first one, you're not going to get any flack. But if there's something that happens, we're going to say, hey, you've got this, and this to work on, or your next one is it.
Right.
So, and then obviously it's a no-brainer. You know that if you apply for a 4-month and the first 2 go well, you better be applying for the next series. So I think that's just a given.
And just so you know, throwing it out there, I have plans of having multiple events during the year. Like, I work with an organization that's vintage bicycles and then newer racing bicycles that do bicycle events all over the country. I'm looking at doing, which it wouldn't be a real big event, I call it a parking lot event. It's where we would set up vintage bicycles, like you show them, sell them. It's for adults, professional racers, kids, everybody. I'm just trying to have some different
Sure.
events for downtown, you know, and most all of them, I don't have $1 to be made on any of it. I just want to have different things
Sure.
going on downtown.
Okay.
And just to clear the air, I'm just being consistent. It's what we ask of Shannon and all of the events she does and all of that. So I'm just being consistent across the board.
Well,
So,
I've tried to bury, thanks to Diane, I've tried to bury my sour attitude that I've had with city
Yeah.
stuff in the past years. You know, there've been some battles. So I've tried to, and I've grown up a little, but I've just tried to bury it.
Yeah.
And Diane was the one that got me involved with this. And I was like, no, I don't want nothing to do with it. And,
Well, welcome aboard, Ed. We're
Yeah.
glad to have you.
thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've had some good conversations in my office too,
Yeah.
Council. Ed has come and sat down with me and we have a clear understanding.
Okay.
no, and
Better than
100% was not, I'm just being consistent across the board. So,
Okay.
promise. In fact, I'll make a motion that we approve the special event Aurora Cruise In application.
Second,
Motion and second, please vote. Thank you.
congratulations. Uh-huh.
All right, that is the end of the agenda, well, the new business, so we'll move on to staff report, city manager report.
I'm going to try to go quick here, Council, but as you can see in my report for this meeting, we have a lot going on. We have a lot moving forward. We are getting a lot done. It's an exciting time to be in Aurora. I can't say more good things about our staff. They're all fantastic and moving things forward and making things happen. Police department, we've had some corporal positions that have now been filled. Most exciting thing about this for Wes and I think, is that we will now have a supervisor on every shift.
Good.
That's something that I think is very important when we have new officers, or not just new officers, having a supervisor on every shift to help make some of those decisions quick and off the cuff when they need to be made, I think is a large improvement. So I appreciate Wes bringing that idea forward, and those have taken place. I'm going to jump to street department. 2026 paving bid it was published this week. That bid opening is scheduled for June 4th. Mosquito fogging has begun for the year. Our machine passed inspection for proper application and operation, so we do know that it's being applied at the correct rate and in the correct manner as that is being done throughout the community. We had 7 globes. I'll just kind of skip to another department here to talk about this at once. The hailstorm that we had. We're still working through that, so you haven't heard any full updates from us yet on that because the adjusters aren't finished yet. We have a lot of buildings, a lot of vehicles, and a lot of pieces of equipment, so they were here all last week, Monday to Friday. Kamie's worked with them again today for some updates and some information, and we're still working through that. But we did have 7 globes on our downtown decorative streetlights that were damaged in the hailstorm. You may see that some of them are missing completely. There's pieces of one on my desk because it was can you even get them anymore conversation. Very excited to say we found the manufacturer, the only place we can buy them. And we can not only buy them to replace them, we can buy them with an LED conversion kit in them, so they would all go to LED. We won't be able to afford to do all those at once because they're not an insured item. That is changing, but we are going to start doing that a little at a time. So you'll see those replacements coming in and some improvements to that lighting downtown, and they come with a 7-year warranty. So we're excited to have some things down there improving that lighting and just the how well they are put together. Cemetery, the new building request for bids will be published next week. We've gone through the draft of that, and Brad and I have shipped it to Kamie for her to put the legal jargon in it, and then it'll be ready to go out end of this week, first of next. So we are hoping to have that bid opening in June as well and get moving forward with the construction of that building. Veterans flags are scheduled to be placed next Wednesday at the cemetery, and there is a better name for this, but Brad calls it a grabber, so that's what I'm going to go with. I approved the purchase of a piece of equipment that attaches to the front of equipment at the cemetery that will actually grab onto a headstone and is a safe way for them to pick that up and set them up. Brad was working through trying to put the headstones that were damaged or fell over back on. So when I say replace, not new headstone, but set it back up in its place. To work through some of our local monument companies, or the only monument companies in the area that would come in and do that, it was going to be $400 to $500 per stone to have them come in and set them. So Brad approached me to purchase this piece of machinery. They've been utilizing it, and all the stones that were laid over or damaged in that tornado a year ago have all been replaced, and our staff has done that themselves. So they've saved some money. That was very important to Brad to make sure that we maintain that aesthetic, within the cemetery, and everything is maintained properly. So appreciate him for having the motivation to want to do that and his staff for getting it done. Parks Department, the pool has been filled and it will open for the year on Saturday, May 23rd. Pamper the Park event, that's already been mentioned, that's this Saturday, the 16th. Rec Center Adult Softball League registration is open, games to begin in July. Adult Pickleball League registration's open, games to begin in June. And they're preparing for their first Parents' Night Out in June. So they're excited about that. Stormwater, we've talked about that in detail tonight. Wastewater, the SRF project is complete with the exception of one small electrical upgrade. Final inspection is scheduled for Thursday. It's a huge project, and Lance is lonely down there because it's so quiet now, but he's very excited that that is coming to completion, so we're glad to have that done. The airport projects, pre-bid meeting is scheduled for this week on the 14th. That'll be virtual, I'll be a part of that, and then the bid submittal deadline will be May 26th, and we'll be sailing through. As I said, last update was hopefully construction in October is the plan from our airport consultants, and we're staying on track with that right now. MoDOT has accepted everything on the pre-design and the full design once it got to them. Municipal Court, our court administrator and prosecutor's assistant will be attending the annual Missouri Association of Court Administrators Spring Conference next week, and the annual Municipal Court Review is scheduled for June 17th. You may see that there's a new sign on the east side of the building in the glass above the door on the east side on the second floor that says Municipal Court, third floor. That's something that the state has made a requirement, and I didn't want to drill any more holes into our pretty new building. So that's why that is done, but we've got that up to be in compliance with what the state requested. So they will be here in June for our annual review. City Hall rehab project is nearing completion. The handrails arrived yesterday and installation has began, and they will be painting them end of this week as well. So that'll be one of the last phases within that project, other than the things that city staff are gonna take care of on our own.
Do we really want to paint them?
I'm sorry?
Do we really want to paint them?
I think so. They're just galvanized right now.
Yeah.
They'll match the building. They'll be the brown color that'll kind of pop with the interior or the exterior of the building. Do I need to stop and not paint them?
No, they need painted.
Okay. Admin and Human Resources, as I said, Kami's working with the insurance adjusters from the recent hailstorm. And then I'm just gonna skip to some meetings that I've attended recently in that list. The Lauber City Officials Training was April 24th. I just wanna say thank you to Lauber Municipal Law and to Holly, she was a part of that, for the training that we received that day. It was great, as always, and we appreciate that opportunity. I just wanted to mention, as you all know, I sit in a liaison position with the Sheltering Hope group here in town. And they have now broken out into 4 committees that have different duties and responsibilities and footwork going on. There's a transportation committee that I've been in some conversations with and been a part of. We are pretty well down the road in some conversation for a public transportation program that would be managed by Sheltering Hope. That's something this community's been asking for and needing for a long time. It's gonna start very small as a pilot program, but we have some local investors and some grant funding that we think may get that kicked off hopefully this year. So I just wanted to share that with y'all, that we are working on a public transportation within the community. I've told you previously about the Berry Lawrence County Economic Development Alliance, and that they were gonna be appointing that group and appointing me to that. We had a strategy session that we held on May 5th. So I hosted the city managers from Aurora, or from Mount Vernon, Monette, and Cassville here, as well as a strategic planner that helps gather some of these alliances and helps them get started. We felt like it was really important for us to take a step back. What is our strategy? What are our goals? How are we getting there? And what does that look like before we actually formally start this alliance? So I hosted them here for a 3-hour meeting on the 5th, provided lunch, and that's kind of where we're at. So now we're working on our strategy and what that looks like to each community. So I just wanted you to know, we haven't formally put that together yet, but we are working on a plan that we can collectively feel like is positive for every community involved before we formalize.
Okay.
Any questions for me?
You got a lot going on.
We have a whole lot going on.
What, do you recall like who attended that? I'm just curious, like what
Who attended what?
the strategic, the meeting you held here?
For the Berry Lawrence County, so it was the city manager from Monette, Mickey Erie, Richard Asbill from Cassville, Rob Harrington from Mount Vernon, so that's the city administrators and city managers, and myself.
Okay.
And then Rob, I'm sorry, I can't remember his last name, but he assisted with the development of the MOCAN Economic Development Alliance, and also has had some part in the OREP in the Springfield area. So he's somebody that kind of, this is what he does. And so that's why he came and gave us some strategy. I can get you his last name.
No, that's okay. I was just
But-
curious who represented a few of those.
Yeah, so our previous meetings, and it may be part of why you're asking that question, our previous meetings had been opened up. And so there were, from some of the other communities, the chamber directors, economic development members from, Monette has an economic development committee. Mount Vernon kind of does right now. We don't, anyway, so there was a group of like 25 people at that last meeting, and we decided to kind of, this committee, and I've mentioned to y'all before, the committee of the city managers and city administrators from the 4 communities were put together to create the actual alliance, start the bylaws, get everything in place from the legal standpoint before we come back out to the full group. And that's when we had some conversations about, Mr. Harrington from Mount Vernon and I kind of wanted to sit back and say, what are we actually doing before we're doing this? And so everybody was great about that. So this was a kind of bring it down group. It was just the 4 of us and then the person leading us through the strategic planning. Once we come out of that, we plan to invite leadership from our cities, so like our mayors, and then bring our chamber directors back to the table to help move that forward before we open it up wide. So, and Shannon had been a part of this before I was, so I want to make sure that we don't leave her out of that. We're just trying to get that core together that we believe the cities want to see happen, and then we'll broaden it back out.
Great job.
All right, any further questions? All right, with that, I will make a motion that we move into closed session pursuant to RSMO 610.021 for items number 1.
Second that motion.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mayor Kennedy?
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Lewis?
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pettit?
Yes.
Councilman Blake?
Yes.
You are now in closed session.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.